My name is Rusenica. Welcome to my casual channel. This is where we talk anything casual or monumental as it relates to life and life's events. And today we are talking about the train wreck that was The Ultimatum Season 3, Episodes 6 through 8. And it's a little bit of a train wreck, but I'm still incredibly entertained. Although this, in my opinion, is not a great season, it has incredible entertainment value that I want to get into with all of you. Okay, so here we talk the standout moments. I like to lead with empathy first and foremost, just because I really want to be fair about the people I'm talking to, but I also would like to emphasize the humor of the show and just to have a little bit of fun, because that's really what reality TV is. It's just seeing ourselves reflected onto these characters, but then also just recognizing these are, although they're human beings, they're also kind of characters that are fun to talk about and laugh about. But no, heavy on the empathy, which is why I'm constantly just talking out things that I sometimes don't need to emphasize so much. Anyway, I have a couple questions for the comments before we recap all of the episodes, and I just kind of wrote them down. I'll have questions as I go on, but this is the first thing that stood out to me. Who do you think is more manipulative? Is it Sandy or Scotty? And then who are you rooting for? Like, what would be your best case scenario of who's going to break up versus who's going to stay together? And then I have additional questions as time goes on, but that's just kind of what was in my mind at first, just because this was a tough watch for me as it relates to scenes with Scotty. Truly, like, it grossed me out. Honestly, it grossed me out to see the way that he was speaking to Arya and the way that Arya was just sitting there trying to like agree with him about egregious horrible things that she's working on. It felt like he was getting source and like power from putting her down. That's just what it felt like to me. I'm very open to being wrong about things, about situations, about my like takes. uh Last season I thought I was, or last season on Love Is Blind, I thought I was team whatever the heck his name was, who I ended up hating at the reunion. So I feel like whatever take I have, I'm trying my hardest to empathize with these people, but I, at the end of the day, just have to go off what's being shown. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Anyway, so let's get into what the heck happened in episode 6. I'm just gonna talk about the things that stood out to me as they happen. So we end off on the boys' night, where it's the whole "does that mean you're sleeping together" thing happen, and basically JR is like, no. And you know what we've been shown is that it hasn't happened, and what they're telling us it hasn't happened. What they're telling us is that it hasn't happened. However, do we as the audience like genuinely believe they haven't actually hooked up? By hooked up, I mean like anything a step above like PG-13, right? I don't. I would be shocked. Oh my god, I would be shocked if nothing happened. I have a feeling something happened. They lied about it, because they do not seem like truthers. They really feel like, you calling me a liar? I ain't calling you a truther. Because what the heck is going on here? Um, I feel like they're telling us they haven't slept together, but like everything that they have is sexual tension, sexual energy, sexualness, whatever. So then we see everybody in their original pairs. So what did sorry. No. We see the pre-original pairs. We see Nick and Mariah, Sandy and JR, Caleb and Arya, Zaina and Scotty. So Zaina and Scotty, we kind of see them getting together. They have the most tense moment, as they're saying they're like, I think it's like a couple days before they do the like reunion thing. What's that called? The changeover. Just a couple days before the changeover. For some reason there's a lot of tension when Zaina just walks in the room after the boys' night. And so we see that Scotty's in a mood, and Zaina's just like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Clearly you're not okay, so like, can you let me know like what the heck is, I'm gonna kill my neighbors again, I'm sorry, oh my god, I hope my neighbors die, dude, my god." Anyway, I'm sorry, my neighbors are so like this microphone only helps so much. But like my neighbors, I feel like they're literally just jumping up and down with furniture in their hands every time. Whatever. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I really could cry. um, back to my notes. Sorry, I'm also looking over my notes. Obviously, Zaina asking, "Are you okay?" Scotty, very principal, like turns to Zaina and goes, "I just want to know, have I ever said anything negative or talked on JR? I just want to know." And then he's like, "This is not an elaborate on your perspective question or find the gray area question." Yuck. Eh. What are we doing here? This is not a, you're not going to let me explain. Like, of course, we're literally in an experiment to find like the parts that we're missing from our partner. Like, ew, bro. Like, I hate when somebody's supposed to be your equal and they talk down to you as if you're not. And they talk down to you like as if there's some like high authority assigned by God to deliver some message, bro. Brew. Brew. Seriously, shut up. It triggered me. Like, okay, Commander. Well, um, Susanna's kind of just sitting there thinking, like, and I wanted her to like really go off on him, honestly, from that moment, because it's like, I hate when men, like, okay, women can do it too, but it's particularly triggering when men do it because it really, like, as a person who's like been in those situations, especially as a person who's literally 5 feet to be exact. I'm not 5 feet to be exact. I'm very small, but I'm not 5 feet to be exact. Just wanted to channel my inner Sabrina. Just as somebody who I feel like has been talked down to a lot, this particularly grossed me the hell out. Scotty saying, like, JR came at me. He didn't actually say, like, JR came at me. But he was like, JR came at me. So it must be your fault. So let me know. Have you talked to him? Girl. He's essentially just saying, like, I assume this is your fault. And he kind of goes off on this stupid little tangent. Is like, I don't care how big he is. I don't care how much he eats. I don't care about what sits on his food scale. And like at first I was following and I was like, yeah, I get it, whatever, JR's talking about you. But like when I were talking about his food intake, okay. So then Zaina's saying exactly what we're all thinking, being like, are you intimidated? He's like, hell no, I'm not intimidated. Intimidated who? I'm not intimidated. Shut up, dude. What relevance does that have to this conversation? I cannot, like, I genuinely cannot do it with somebody who is so just analytical about a conversation that involves emotion. You know, like, what relevance does that have to this conversation? Are we in a courtroom? We're in a kitchen. we're in a kitchen. And you're yelling at me like like as if I'm like suing. Like, what? He just has a lot of authoritative language that comes out of his feeling of insecurity. Like, this is really just a sad guy. And I've seen some people have takes that are kind of not defending Scotty, but really just seeing Scotty for the person that he is, because he has several moments like this that are being dissected. And I watch recaps of this show. People kind of like identifying with him. I don't have it in me to identify with somebody who is that like abrasive. I don't have it in me to empathize with people who choose language like that to make other people feel bad. I don't have it in me. It's just been done too many times to me to where I have felt in the past, I have felt really bad for people to be like, it's so horrible that they're treating me bad, but their life probably just sucks. That's why no, girl. Oh my God. We need to stop feeling bad for these people. Like, they choose these things, they choose the words that they say, and then they weaponize them, and then they make themselves the victim. And it's disgusting. So if you are like, I don't care about that perspective. I really don't. I've been hearing it for too long about like abusers. Like, I'm not saying he's abusive, but this language is not healthy. So I like at this moment I was like, Zay needs to get in another apartment. Like, did that hit anybody else that hard? Because it hit me that hard to be like, she needs to get out of there. I don't know. So then Zaina kind of just reacts to what he's saying, being like, where's this energy coming from? He's like, no energy. I don't have any energy. Okay, yeah, I just pulled that out of my butt for nothing. I just pulled it out of my butt. And she's like, listen, we're not going to do this. Like, we're going to answer the question at hand. And I need you to listen to me because whatever she said, she basically was standing on business and being like, listen, let's have a constructive conversation and let's just get into whatever the heck you're bringing up. And then he apologizes at the end, kind of. It wasn't even a real apology, it was a non apology, saying, I'm sorry if I made you feel blah, blah, blah. And you know what? I wish that in that moment she had said, it's not if, it's the fact that you did make me feel like that. Like, the intention behind your words were not to seek out a solution. Like, your intentions behind your word were to blame me. Whatever, you know? I've learned from saying that before. Like, when I was in college, I said, I'm sorry if I blah, blah, blah. And my friend put me in my place and was like, that's like, you're saying I'm sorry if, like, it's not if this thing happened. People need to be put in their place so that they can learn. And somebody needs to do that to Scotty. Grosses me out, dude. I spent too much time on this. I'm sorry. If you enjoyed that, I'm happy that you did. Or if you felt value, found value out of me talking about that, I'm so happy. But he just grosses me the crap out. He grosses me the out, dude. So that whole scene he already has put bad taste in my mouth, but I just really don't like him. I really don't like him. I don't want to talk about him anymore. Anyway, so yeah, literally, like, this whole entire recap, I'm trying so hard not to talk about Scotty because he just irks me. And I don't like seeing people like this on reality TV because I feel like it normalizes really horrible people and really horrible communication. And it's annoying because, like, that is normal. Like, horrible people that are insecure and sad lashing out at people who are just trying to, like, communicate with them. It's normal, but I don't want, like, it kills reality TV for me a little. So Nick and Mariah. Nick is downloading about how JR is into Sandy. By the way, I'm gonna start calling her Sandy because her original name is Sandra, and I kind of feel like your name is Sandra, and you went from Sandra to Sandy. Your name is Sandy, so we're calling her Sandy again, just to update anybody who didn't watch the last episode. So Sandy, but I'll really, like, mention her name in serious conversations. They're talking. Nick is downloading about how JR is into Sandy and talking about how into each other they are, and Mariah is validating him. I kind of feel like this is like a gross team. I like Mariah, I really do, but I feel like she's not really challenging him to be like, listen, have you ever thought about the fact that it's not JR that's threatening a relationship? It's really, like, work you have to do because you really can only control yourself in this situation. You can't control if JR is going to persuade your girl not to be with you. You can only control the things that, like, make her love you. Whatever. Like, I just wish she would give him that. I don't know, it kind of just gross me out. And then we have Sandy and JR chilling. Sandy says, so I told Zaina that you love her, so we're okay. You know, that whole, like, fake conversation that she had, and she was like, doesn't matter, girl. Like, I'm just building him up for you. We're just friends. No, Caleb and Aria, those people are just friends. You guys are something else. I don't know what, but you're something else. And so then JR kind of advocates for Nick, which was weird. Because he's like, I kind of felt bad for him, which was, like, such a weird. It was weird because in the guys' night, JR wasn't even really accepting Nick's apology, which I don't know. I feel like now from watching these couple of episodes, I kind of I don't like Nick or JR, you know, so I'm really team nobody. But the fact that Nick was trying to like apologize, I feel like that's a little commendable to be like, listen, I'm sorry that I was trying to blow you up. I'm sorry that I was like being a little harassy. Um, but Sandy's just really not into him or JR advocating for Nick because Sandy's just really not into Nick. I like I well, I'm lost for words because she seems to just hate him. But then when they get together, it's like things are normal with them. So let's go back to my next notes because I don't even know how to expand on that. So Caleb and Arya meet up with Arya's brother and friend. That's an attractive family. She has a cute brother. Oh my god. They do the whole like what you're you to each other thing. Little do they know they literally just were put together because they didn't have a choice. And Arya's like, well, I thought he was attractive, but I was really just attracted to his mind. And the brother's like, so you mean he's ugly? Did you say he was ugly? Like, and Arya talks about the difference between Caleb and Scotty, and I wrote this down in my notes. I said it's so hard to imagine Arya with Scotty because he just seems so toxic and like he doesn't have a redeeming quality versus Caleb is so nice, is perfect, like in comparison to Scotty. Um, like it's just hard to imagine Arya with somebody like Scotty because she's so sweet and Caleb is so sweet to her, and you want to root for Caleb and Arya. Like there are a lot of comments, not a lot of comments under my videos. Like I don't get that many comments. Comment if you like would like to and boost my engagement, please, and I'll look at your comment and really appreciate you. But I've seen a lot of comments under other people's stuff of people really being like Arya and Caleb deserve each other. I think that's really an idealistic way to look at their relationship because it's like Caleb was never going to just get up and leave Mariah. Caleb was just coming to do this because Mariah wanted him to do it. And Caleb probably really appreciates Arya and really sees her as a great girl. But I really think if he was going to leave Mariah, she gotta come with something stronger. Like, I really don't. I think that Caleb is avoiding some of his real feelings. Like, I think he has real feelings for her, but in order for him to like leave Mariah, there had to be something else, you know. I just never saw that as a reality. But there are a lot of people who very much team Caleb and Arya. It won't happen just because Mariah's like a great girl also. Um but I see a lot of team Caleb and Arya. And I'm team Caleb and Arya too. But the thing is I just have to be so for real. That's just the thing. So then Scotty and Zaina, they're like, we have 72 hours. Or Zaina's like, we have 72 hours. Anything you want to get out? And he's like, regardless of what you feel, I think I got something out of this. Oh my god. I want to say so many violent things that are not good. But I won't. So Scotty says that he's learned conflict resolution out of Zaina, and Zaina has learned to be more direct. Like, I feel so bad for Zaina, dude. Because she's just too beautiful to be putting up with this BS from both of the people that she's with. Like, with Scotty and with the JR. She's just like, I feel the same for Arya too. Like, Arya, dude, this show was meant for Arya to recognize that she's in a horrible, horrible situation with Scotty. Like, truly, Scotty, I'm not even going to elaborate even more about how I feel about him because that's clear. Like, I just said that. But this, like, I'm happy if anything comes out this season that at least Arya can recognize that there are good people. And she says this herself, that there are good guys out there and she doesn't have to settle for Scotty. He's not even cute. Not to say that you should be with somebody who's abusive just because they're attractive, but more so to say, like, he's not even anything to look at. Like, he's not, girl, you're so beautiful. You could literally DM Michael B. Jordan and he would be on you, girl, I swear. But you're with this sad gaslighting man who's not cute even. I really want to cry. Like, I really need to just. Scotty is just not only like ugly on the outside, but ugly on the inside as well. Um, so then we have Scotty and so then we have Sandy and JR. Sandra. Talking about JR being sick of JR talks about being sick of Nick. And he does bring up a valid point saying, you try to manage Nick's emotions, and I about how I'm constantly trying to communicate with you. I'm gonna kill my neighbors. My neighbors are gonna die tonight. Um Imagine it. Okay. Um so like he's kind of just bringing up you're really trying to manage these emotions. And it's true. But the thing is, it's like they're both obsessing about each other, and it's stupid and ridiculous. Like this whole thing could just be solved if they just ignored Nick and just let bygones be bygones. Um, but it's also weird because Sandy is like kind of it feels like she's fake crying about the situation, especially with how she treats Nick post that meeting up. It's like as if she just didn't say all these things about him. Like anyway, so then everybody has their last few moments with each other. Arya and Caleb exchange books, and Arya writes him a note. Arya, it's so possible for you to just leave that man. He's not like he's not it. He's not him. So then Nick we see that Nick is getting a tattoo 2 days before the changeover. And then it's the wrong thing. I swear, dude, if I will say though, kudos to him for even saying that out loud. If I saw like, oh, it's the wrong thing, I'm gonna keep that in my head forever. That's never coming out of me. Like, if I get the wrong tattoo. Also, how did he just know that he got the wrong thing? Like, he got up from the chair. He's like looking at it. He's looking at his phone. Or did he just like see his reference photos and was like, oh man, that's the wrong one? Shoot. That was such a weird moment. I just feel like that also sums up how goofy of a guy Nick is, just to get the wrong tattoo, just like um that just made me giggle a little bit because you couldn't not to say you couldn't waterboard that out of me because you probably could, but just to say like I would do everything in my power to let just like my ego just a little too high to admit I got permanently tattooed the wrong phrase on my body because nobody would ever let me live it down. So then Scotty, get off my screen, and Zaina are spending last couple moments together. This is the big one. Scotty does his big one. So Scotty's talking about how he didn't go to the gym, and Zaina is like, "Oh, I actually did go to the gym, and I actually ran into Arya, and she talked about how she was talking to JR, and she's like, basically, like everybody talking to JR. It's not just me talking to JR, so you can take your little accusation and shove it, you know where." And she didn't say that, obviously. She was much more kind about it. But then Scotty's basically admitting his obsession, being like, it's crazy because you walked into the bathroom at 1:30 a.m. So you're texting JR. It's crazy. That was crazy. That was crazy work to be like, I saw you going to the bathroom at 1:30 a.m. I saw you. You have nowhere to hide. You're texting people. Ew. They get into a whole conversation about whether Scotty's just accusing Zaina of a bunch of things. Yeah. They get into a conversation where Scotty's like just accusing Zaina of like a lot of things. I read that note very wrong. And he's just being incredibly toxic. He's being incredibly toxic. And he's trying to pin her as the toxic one, which is very fascinating. Literally like using her age against her, being like, is this what we do at 32 years old? Ew. Bruh. kind of being like, you're painting with such ugly colors now, you're making yourself look really gross. Anything she would say to try to be a little constructive just was not landing, and he was really just trying to poke and prod at her. And Zaina just leaves, as she should. As she should. I wish she had left the first time, because the fact that she even entertained him is crazy. It's not crazy on her end. She was really trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I just hate to see like a disgusting man. No, just a disgusting person. Okay, I hate to see this guy. I hate to see any disgusting behaviors put up with and not really like. I just hate to see people getting away with things. Like, not to say that her leaving made it so that he thought he was getting away with it, but it was just kind of like a somebody do like somebody take him out the show. He's like actually like he's more than toxic. He's really just, to me, that felt abusive. Like, that truly felt like disgusting levels of abuse, truly. Because he was not like listening to her. He was not giving her any sort of leeway. She was trying her best. Disgusting. Okay, so then we have Caleb and Arya. Caleb and Arya, Karia, catch up, and they summarize the last few days. Wholesome king and queen that they are. I just need a moment. Okay. So Caleb shows Arya that there are good men out there. Happy for you, Arya. Like, I said this before. If this show was for anything, it's to show Arya that she can be with a good guy. Mariah does not want Caleb talking to Arya. It's understandable. If I was in that same exact position, Mariah, 100% stand by you, stand by your feelings. It's unfortunate. It's so unfortunate because there's so many Caleb and Arya fans. But the fact that Arya kind of did come at Mariah being like, I think maybe you could be the toxic one. Girl, you're not being friends with my man. So, yeah. So then we have Sandy and JR. They basically just say that they're going to miss each other. Then we get into the changeover. Oh, things get really crazy. So it was Scotty and Zaina. She's giving them, everybody's like talking about their relationships at the table. She's giving the rundown of their relationship. She's being really generous to him. She's being really generous for what he was really saying. So he's being generous and just like, it was all good until it went wrong. But he is somebody who's dedicated to being a husband. He is somebody who's dedicated to being like, he's gonna be there for you, like, for real. It just all happened to go wrong when this one thing happened, and then I just decided to blah blah blah. But it's like, whatever. Like, he's gonna be a good, I really don't care about being accurate about that summary, because I really just like don't care about him. And I just like, I don't want a good thing to be said about him. And that's my toxic trait, is like, I can only lead with ethos. That's literally like, I can only lead with ethos. I can't think analytically about a person. I can't put myself in their shoes when I have just seen them be so gross and disgusting. Caleb and Arya. So Caleb thought that he was going to be resentful of this experience, which makes sense, but it turned out to be better because he got paired with Arya. Arya appreciates how calm Caleb is. Who wouldn't? What a king. That's my king, right? That's a that's a king right there. I don't know if I can say that for just regular kings. So then Mariah says, if you knew what I was trying to like reference, you would know why that's funny. I'm not going to explain it. It's just gonna kill me to do it. So Mariah says, could you see yourself living with him? By the way, could you see yourself living with him? I just need to know. Let me know. And Zarya is like, well, it's more about like the qualities that he has. She's like, okay. Okay. I think she was kind of just really wanting an answer as to like, should I be threatened? Mariah's not, should never feel threatened. Like, Caleb just loves her too much, I think. So Nick speaks. Also, I feel like they're not really like going in like proper order, because everybody just be like speaking after each other, but Vanessa and Nick are not really like asking people. They kind of start speaking. I don't know if that's the gig here or what. So then we have Caleb and Arya. I just went over that. Sorry, we have Nick. Nick speaks, saying, so Vanessa left, and then I found out that they kissed. referring to Sandy and JR. Zaina is like, what? JR is like, well, we didn't establish boundaries, and if we had, I wouldn't have come. Huh? I wouldn't have come? Do you even know what a boundary is? Like, I feel like people really need to know what the heck they're talking about. A boundary is literally just enforcing what you're comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with, and working from there to establish things that can make people feel comfortable and safe. So then we have Sandy and Nick. Sandy, I feel really bad for Zaina, by the way. But I don't know. I just kind of feel like, girl, you see what the heck is going on. Don't. How much of us are we ignorant to? How much of her is playing ignorant, and then how much of her is just ignoring things, you know? So then JR starts talking, and it feels like he's provoking Nick, talking about him and Sandy's relationship, being like, yeah, so Sandy's the greatest person I've ever met in my life. I wish I could wipe her down, get her pregnant. We have a bunch of children. They grow up, it's like, like even saying things like, Sandy invited me to Christmas dinner. I might have to take her up on that. Okay. Did we have to do that? I don't know. Nick is just bothered. Like, I would be bothered if I was Nick. I don't even want to empathize with the man, but I will say JR is provoking Nick in a way that is wild. He's like, I love Sandy. Sandy's the greatest. So JR keeps bringing up Nick, and Caleb's like, listen, when we were at the boys' night, JR kept bringing up Jabs. And JR's like, bro, shut up. Mind your business. And we're all like, don't, like, not too much on my boy over. That's like the boy of the season. Okay, stop. JR is just, I don't like people with big egos that cannot just listen to other people and like be very real and in tune with their emotions. And that's a lot of this cast that grosses me out. So we have Nick and Sandy, JR and Zaina. How are we feeling about them? Let me know. How are you feeling about Nick, Sandy, JR and Zaina? Like, who should be together, who shouldn't be together, what the heck is going on with them? I feel like collectively people do not like JR. That's fine because I don't like him either. And people are annoyed by Sandy because she's really leaning into things and then lying about it. And then I think a lot more people have empathy for Nick in ways that I did not expect. I'm struggling with my empathy for him versus my like kind of annoyance by him, but I mean that's just like human. It's just like I feel like a lot of people have that as well. Okay. So then we have Sandy and Nick again. Sandy and Nick get comfortable very quickly. Like they didn't just, oh, I forgot to bring that up, dude. I forgot to bring up the fact that Sandy went off on Nick, being like, I just am so tired. You guys think that he's so nice, but he's been so horrible to me. He's been torturing me. At the table whenever they're like downloading, and Nick is trying to just, they're like taking it. And then they get back to the apartment, and Nick gets very comfortable with Sandy, and Sandy's acting like nothing happened. And you can just tell they're used to this toxicity. Because in what world? If my husband was treating me the way that Sandy treated Nick, like blocked me after I was just wanting to know what that was going on with them, after even I was like crossing boundaries that I had set, if he blocked me and then still like proceeded to go through my friends, and then after we meet up at the thing I go off on him being like he's torturing me, I'm not coming back to the apartment giving him a hug and like reconciling. Okay, we're looking into separation. That's crazy work. What? So I just don't get the whole Sandy and Nick. I don't even know what they like about each other for real. Can we sit these people down and like see what they like about each other? I feel like maybe Sandy just wants somebody to walk all over because that's really just what's happening. I mean, really just what's happening. So then Nick personally raises red flags for me, but I can't trust a thing Sandy says. I can't. She just like, I want to lean into, like, I did lean into my not trusting, not liking Nick, being like, I am for like her trying to keep herself safe and being and viewing Nick as kind of harassing her. But then when she's crying about how he's, like mistreating her, torturing her, and then going back and like hugging her and they're fine. It's like, girl, what are you saying and why do you say it? Anyway, we have Arya and Scotty. First of all, Arya wants to go back to having fun, and Scotty brings up that it's hard being in a long distance relationship. Um, and you know what? It is interesting seeing them interact because they seem natural. And it's also interesting because I forget why they're talking about straight shooters, but Arya said that she likes a straight shooter because they just get to the point, which makes me feel like that makes sense as to why she's attracted to Scotty in like a demonic in a demonic way. Because demonic in a messed up way because Scotty is going to get to a point, even though I feel like his communication is disgusting fumbled. I do see why she maybe likes him based off of saying I want a straight shooter because he will, I guess, be direct. So then they talk about the physical attraction between Arya and Caleb. And Arya says, I do think that he was attracted to me, actually, and I was attracted to him. Talking about, I guess, what Mariah was saying about them. And Arya says that she really liked Caleb's calmness, you know? Okay. So honestly, we're kind of at this point repeating, like, you hear a lot of the points that have been made earlier, but they're just being made to the original partners. And it's interesting seeing reactions. And honestly, the last couple of episodes are a little bit more exhausting to watch because I feel like it's like a bunch of regurgitated things. Like the last couple days that the couple spend before the ultimatum is like just repeating a bunch of things we've heard before. Okay, so we have Zaina and JR. Zaina is upset. Sorry, catching up, and Zaina is upset about them being physical. Just you wait until the show, baby girl. Oh, baby girl. Like, Zaina is just it's so sad to be such a beautiful woman, just like her, and to just have to interact with the scummiest men, and to know that the show is going to come out, and to be like, I didn't, like, you can just see her at the reunion being like, I didn't know it was all that. Like, I was upset about a kiss, and he was saying it was a peck, and I have to watch this. Like, what? So, yeah, so then we have Scotty and Arya. Arya wants to be seen for the person that she is, which is so interesting because Scotty has also said something to that extent of like, I want to be seen for the man that I am, and I want to be trusted for the person that I am. It's like, okay, you guys are both saying that you don't really see each other. So like, what are we doing here? What are we really doing here? um. Also, she wants the back and forth banter that she had with Caleb. Yeah. Scotty says, yeah. So it was probably easy with Caleb because he doesn't have the emotional baggage that we have. Yeah, true. I hate to say true, but at the same time, what is that emotional baggage and why is it there? Can we focus on that? So then Scotty is saying like, I don't buy the we were just friends thing that Caleb was selling. And then Arya's trying to comment and he says, let me finish. And then Arya, of course, very used to this song and dance, is like, can we not do this? And you know what? That, like, I've never been in a position where my husband has yelled at me in public ever. If anything, I am the one who would get more like activated or reactive. But there was something so triggering as like a woman. Um this might even be triggering for you if you're like a guy, but like to see somebody in a relationship being like, can we please not do this? It just really grosses me out because I feel like there are a lot of women who feel the need to really calm down their very overreactive partners, and then the partners don't even like care that the women are saying that. And um that, like, it just, this is really this every time Scotty and Arya came on the screen, I just feel like a certain part of me is just like really sad for her, really sad for the fact that she has to be like, can we not do this? really sad for the fact that she recognizes this is like not appropriate, but then knowing that like she's putting up with these things because she feels as though she can't do better, and she like should feel better, and she should be with somebody who makes her feel safe and it will listen to her and like value what she has to say when she's like, can we not do this, to make her feel safe. But like she's not with that guy. She's with the guy who's gonna like talk over her and not listen to her, all because he feels shame and insecurity, and he needs to like walk all over her. I'm not gonna cry, but I want to. Like, I want to because it's just so disappointing and disgusting. Not from her end, but from his. So then we have Caleb and Mariah. Caleb seems a lot more avoidant than Mariah. Like, I don't see Mariah as overwhelming. I think she's actually trying to do the work and having conversations that they need to have. But I think that Caleb is overwhelmed by the amount of emotional speak that she's trying to like get through. But I think Mariah's really just trying to do what she's trying to do to like make their relationship as solid as possible. And I think this is actually a very common thing amongst avoidance versus like anxious attachment people. I'm at more anxious attachment. My husband's very avoidant, and I think that's very typical of heterosexual male female relationships. But if we're going to take it out of the context of like heterosexual male female, we'll just keep it to anxious and avoidant. It's like so complicated. It's so difficult when you're just trying to communicate in a way that's authentic to you, but it doesn't meld well with somebody else. Oh, I really do feel for Caleb and Ryan. These moments, I really do. It's like hard. It's like hard on both of them. So we have Sandy and Nick. Sandy makes a decision not to be physically intimate. To me, I kind of felt immediately as she said that, I was like, is it because you had sex and you want to like get tested or something and then you want to like be in the clear? That's just how it struck me. She says she wants space to process things, which is honestly very uncharacteristic for the horniest pairing, coming out of being the horniest pairing that we've seen. Please, girl. Then we have Zayn and JR. I love that they're getting manicured together. I like a man who's very secure in his masculinity to where he can do things that service himself. Like I like that. I think that's great that we're being comfortable enough to just be manicured. Um so they're talking about physical levels. Why did I make that note? I don't even know what I'm talking about. Physical levels? And then also getting it's like levels of intimacy, dude. And they're also getting into differences about what they would want to find out of a marriage. That's one thing I know for sure. Honestly, there was a lot of talk that wasn't that interesting. I would have made more notes if it was. So we're gonna go into Scotty and Arya. While they're cooking, I'm realizing they're physically similar. Like, as much as I think that Scotty is ugly, that's mainly because his personality is really pulling him down. Really pulling him down in a disgusting way. But they do have similar characteristics, like the color of their skin is similar. Their hair texture is probably similar. Like, I don't know. They just have, you know what I mean. They look like they could be related in some way. Okay, so then we have Caleb and Mariah. Mariah says that whenever they talk, Caleb takes it as it's something that he's lacking, which is very relatable. Because if you ever just want to like have a conversation with somebody and you're being open and honest about the way that you feel, sometimes it can be like, no, I'm not critiquing you as a person. I'm just saying what I want us to see. Caleb doesn't seem to respond well, and then kind of just gets up and just kind of leaves. And it's not funny, it's not giggly, but I feel like it's like I understood Mariah so much to where it was like, oh, this is such the typical avoidant anxious thing that happens all the time. It's like, I'm really trying my hardest. You can see her just trying her hardest to be as like gentle as possible. And he's like, I don't know what you want from me. Like, she's like, I literally laid it out. But whatever, dude. So then all couples meet up. No tea is spilled. Nothing genuinely really happened, except for Nick finds out that there was a second kiss. You were crashing out over one kiss. Girl, wait till you see the show, baby girl. So then we have Sandy and Nick. Nick asks about the second kiss, and Sandy's telling him what's going on. But she omits it. Like the fact that she omitted it, she's lying to him. He reacted, and honestly, he's really valid for being upset. Like she straight up is just lying to him. I don't know how he's supposed to feel. And that's kind of one of those moments where I can empathize for Nick truly and completely, because that was like an intentional effort not to be honest. So then they meet up in the morning, and it's confusing because Sandy is mad at him. And he's apologizing for what? For what? I don't get it. It just is like, that's why I feel like Sandy is manipulative, not to the levels of which Scotty is. Because Scotty is nasty. But Sandy, like, I feel like if she's lying about that to her partner, and there are things that could have been done off camera, they're probably doing those things off camera. You know? Then we have Zaina and JR. They both want to dig deeper. So then JR opens up about growing up, experiencing homelessness at one point. Um, for some reason, like my nose gets like really plugged up for some reason whenever I speak on my YouTube channel. I don't know why that happens, but like, so I just have to let the air flow. I'm sorry. So, he talks about growing up seemingly poor, one of 7 kids, being called ugly, and kind of just reaffirms to himself and says to Zaina, you know, I am handsome, and I am tall, and I'm black. And, you know, for the regular viewer, it's kind of like, what do you mean? When? Yeah, you're black. Uh huh. I think that maybe JR grew up in like a predominantly white area, so I feel like maybe being black could be kind of a sore point for him, because he maybe feels a little shame because he's bringing up things that are like shameful. So I kind of put 2 and 2 together and be like, yeah, he's probably talking about how like being black was like something to be ashamed of, and now he's kind of just reaffirming that it's like good, he can be in touch with it. As somebody who's like also gone through like things that are similar. Also, like me and JR, I feel like have very similar ways of dealing with things, dude, of existing. Like I grew up one of 5 kids. Definitely was called ugly. Also was a pastor's kid. I do have a nutrition scale, but that's because I have a hormonal imbalance that has left me a little few pounds uncomfortably on the scale. But I would never take my food scale to a restaurant. I would never do that. It's just interesting the similarities we have between us, but how we're incredibly different people. Okay, so then we have Scotty and Arya. I don't even know what this is entirely because I just read the first note. I just wrote that this was triggering, as if not every single scene I see on this Netflix television is not triggering. So, I wrote down, I'm disgusted and so mad Scotty gets to be this vile. What am I disgusted about, dude? Hello, past Ruth. So then I say they get into constructive conversation, but of course Scotty provokes. They're talking about physical affection and how it's lacking. Okay. Right. So Scotty brings up the fact that he would like non-sexual physical touch. And so then Arya is saying, I know I need to work on that. I do need to improve. I'm sorry that it's not happening for us. And so they kind of, it's like uncomfortable and hard because she's admitting to it, and he's just like, I don't even like want to hear it. I just want it to be done. I feel like that's what he's conveying. And then he's talking about how it's hard for him to share improvables with her because she gets emotional. And it's like, we're having a conversation and I'm reacting to it in a natural way. Like, he's not even being constructive. He's just being mean. He's just being mean. And she says like, I'm working on it, and it's not noticed. Like, I'm trying really hard, and she starts crying too. She's like, I'm working on it, and it just goes unnoticed. And he says, I'm not going to affirm you. I'm not going to spare your feelings if I don't like you, or if I think I was trying to say like, if I don't get what I want, I'm not going to marry you. I'm going to be honest and you could be hurt. That's um like, ladies, if you're seriously in a relationship that looks like this, and you are being told by a man, it's hard to see you emotional. I'm not dealing with this. I'm just not going to marry you. That man doesn't like you. He wants a very specific version of you, I feel. And she's trying to do her best in saying like, you say it's never like this, but I am holding your hand, I'm giving you hugs, I'm doing whatever. And he's like, yeah, but you, when we talk about how we can improve, you just get emotional. Okay, dude. Everything about him, everything about their dynamic just makes me like ill. And I want to get emotional about it because it's like, she's such a beautiful girl. She's such a beautiful girl, and she deserves so much better. And oh my god, I hope that she's, and like, the fact that she's not even really standing up in the way that she's stepping into her power, saying, I'm not accepting this. Like, you're being mean for no reason. Um, you're not being constructive. You are simply just saying that you would like things, and if you don't get them, you're not going to be with me. How is that realistic for a relationship at all? Like, it just makes me like genuinely upset. I don't even know how other people looked at this show and are not feeling triggered, but this was very triggering to me. God, like, ew, Scotty, like, I can't even say grow up. I literally just want to be like, like, do something disgusting. Like, do something disgusting. Like, I don't know. I can't even be mean that way and be like, let's freaking die. You know, I can't. I want to, but it's like, I hope that he one day can just dive into therapy, realize how like horrible his communication is, and just work on that. So we have Nick and Sandy. Sorry, I have to get out of there. I have to get out of there. It's too much for me. Nick and Sandy, they have the family meetup. The family comes with such less energy than they had with JR, which by the way, which like, I'm happy that other people are saying that it was disgusting because it was weird, and they have no feelings towards, I don't even know how they feel about Nick. It was so weird. I don't even have any notes about that. Like, comment if you do. Caleb and Mariah go fishing. Cute. Arya and Scotty, I can't even cover them. They just make me sick. I literally can't even talk about them. Zayn and JR, they're very lovey-dovey. You know, it's weird. I like have moments where I look at Zayn and JR and I'm like, they're actually really good together. Look, she can be so soft around him. She really likes just chilling with him, being in his presence. It's just such a shame that he doesn't give a damn about her. It's just really such a shame. Um, it's crazy. That's okay. So then we go into the ultimatum. There were probably other things. There were other things that I just didn't write down, honestly, because it was getting a little boring, a little repetitive. But they go into ultimatum, and then we see Sandy walking up to who? JR. What? That was crazy. Thank you so much to Netflix for doing that for us. They are the Xander and Yoli of this season. Well, no, right? I don't even know. Let me know if you think that they're the Xander and Yoli of the season. That's really all I have. I need to get going. I'm going to go upstairs and do something. No, I'm not gonna go upstairs and kill my neighbors. It's okay. Not me like processing the fact that I just said that. I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time of day it is. I hope you have an amazing morning, afternoon, or night. And I will see you next week for the later episodes. Oh my God. Oh my God.